Hello and welcome to the Space Between Ideas. I'm Blaine Gates. Now let's start out with this really quick example story. So this is an example of a one-pager. Now the thing is that I would really like to start deploying some of my products. I've really been focusing on trying to build an entire course for this one company, and it's been taking a long time. Now, there's no necessity to, get things going. I have till September to develop this whole situation. And the thing is that sometimes you learn by doing. So I think that maybe it's time to return back to the idea of creating some tools for coaches. And then what will happen is this YouTube video, it'll just be like added support for people who are buying the tools. I can explain more about the tools. I can explain more about how to use the tools. And then I can also talk about people who would be suitable for buying the tools, using the tools. And here's an example of one of the tools, well, a piece of the tool. So when I coach people one-on-one, I'm reading here, it's important to help people think about their overall responsibilities, and to understand what needs to happen to achieve their goals. All right, so there's a student. I want all my summer vacation properties to be fully booked this summer so that local landlords will trust me and give me more properties to manage. All right, so this lady, she's in Italy, and she manages properties around a lake. I asked, how many properties can you manage without hiring someone to help you? She said, I can manage 40 properties, but I'll be working all the time and will not be able to sit down and rest. And that's what's happening right now. She's literally in the middle of the season. Is there any possibility of changing property type so that you can manage the property type you manage so that you can make more money from each property without needing to do more work? All right, so we're talking about margin. And she said, yes, I'm currently managing private homes and I can make more money by managing large villas. All right, so the thing is that when I was coaching her, she's taking a break right now for the summer. When I was coaching her, we were constantly talking about how to increase her image and how to change her property type from managing houses to managing villas. But over and over and over and over, she kept accepting more and more properties that were private homes, and so her margin hasn't been able to increase. Therefore, she's unable to hire someone to help her, and now she's working all the time. Now, when we go back to Dennis, all right, so he wants to create a checklist to direct the stand-up meetings. Now, I shared this checklist with two other people. One is a psychiatrist that I talk to twice a week. He's not my psychiatrist, and the type of psychiatry he does, it's not related to a problem that I have. But we talk about his efforts as the CEO of their clinic. I also talked to a project manager, and she is super analytic. She's a chemical biologist. And so it's really interesting to get two different takes on it. So the psychiatrist is like, yeah, so, as a CEO, he said, I would just do it. And a lot of the time he talks about things like, he wants to control processes, and it's even more of a waste of time to, actually, these are some things that he said to me. Actually, I recorded it. So he said, you can't screw a screw with a hammer. So he said, so he also said sometimes we hire people that are the same as ourselves. So, he shared a lot of his thoughts, and he said, for me, I would just make the list, get it done quickly. This is what I want to happen, done. Now, and the lady that does project management, she was like, well, if your overall endeavors is to get the team ownership, remember that the endeavor is we're talking about ownership. The original endeavor is I wish my employees were more responsible for results. I wish they would take ownership and think from the client side. All right, so these are what we call metrics. And, it's really important to make sure that you have the right goal or the right metric, because, what's the right answer for you? Well, we always have to go back to the metric. So that's what I mean by, make sure that you're focusing on the most important goals.